I asked the question, the question I was trying to get in on was to try and understand what happens to create movements that go into hyperbolic kind of growth curves, just into huge impact, and also growth, like massive exponential growth, but also manage to transform their societies. The early church was the one that really caught me. Apparently about at the year 100, the church was around about 25,000 in 40 million people. So actually not that significant. This church is almost that size. It's not really, but I mean, this is 5,000 or 8,000 people. But, there's 5 of these churches and you've got the population of the Christians in the year 100. So it's not, it's impressive, it's established, but it's not, it's not amazing. There's a couple of churches in America bigger than that. So, okay, so that's 25,000 year 100. They grow up to about 20 million by the year 300. That is 200 years later, they end up at 20 million. How do they do that? Now, what got to me is to ask the question is, well, to answer it, you have to know that they were illegal. They didn't have buildings. They didn't have clergy in the way we understand that whole stuff. They didn't have the Bible. They didn't have seeker sensitive. They didn't have internet. They didn't have seminaries. They didn't have all the stuff we think you need, right, to get the church going. Consultants. And yet they grow like mad. So what's going on there? That's my obsession, right? And it really did obsess me. And I feel it was God tapping me on the shoulder and saying, this is your life's task. A factor in movements that is unquestionably there and present is this notion of discipleship. Everyone's in the game. No matter whether you're the youngest convert or even walking towards Jesus, you're not even a full convert yet. Discipleship all the way through to the end of your life. You never leave it. It's not just a 14-week course in the beginning of your faith. That's the best you get in most churches, right? And we don't really have a notion of discipleship. Well, discipleship is absolutely critical because it's the way Jesus gets into us, and it's also the way we end up reproducing, because only disciples will reproduce. Jesus can do with 12 disciples what he cannot do with 12,000 consumers, or tenders, if you will. You might be impressed with 12,000 in attendance, but actually you can't do a lot with them.